The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, folks. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tommy O'Brien. We just had Basil do his show at the 8 o'clock hour, so make sure to check that out. We'll have a replay again at 10. Let's take a look at where we're at right now. Of course, we're about 30 minutes before the opening, 24 to be exact, with the ES Mini at 5,065.25 cents. So obviously we had a sell-off last week. Yesterday was somewhat positive. Obviously we landed in the green for it. You still have some people looking at this saying that the sell-off isn't entirely over yet. You know, and there's something to talk about as well. I think a lot of this run-up was because people were expecting interest rates to go down. So it remains to be seen kind of what happens, especially when you have more conversation from Fed members saying that there's now a longer time. The extent to which we're going to have higher rates is longer now. So we have the Russell trading down 0.19% pre-market, trading at 1,978. The NQ is 17,418, up about 0.39%. Right now, the Dow futures still above that 37,000, which is really nice. So we're at 38,576. Of course, the gold contract going down still a little bit under that 2,400 level at 2,325. Copper staying pretty solid at 440, down about 1.7% pre-market. Silver, of course, trading at 27.09. And then crude oil has continued to make its sell-off, which has been fantastic. That was one of the things that I was worried about regarding CPI going forward. Teddy Keckstadt, him and I had a conversation last week as well when I was filling in for Tommy, and he shared the same insight on that, or same opinion at least. Tesla continues to go down. They are recalling their Cybertrucks. There's one in St. Pete now that keeps driving around, and people huddle around it when it's parked on the street. And it's just a long time and a lot of money to wait to have it recalled. And I'm not in, obviously, engineering or design or anything like that, but what was happening is that the pedal can get stuck on the carpeting. And when you look at it, you're kind of like, that is pretty apparent that would happen. So kind of bizarre. It's rough for Tesla. Of course, ARK as well keeps just buying the fall on Tesla. So people are unhappy with Cathie Woods for that. Steel Dynamics at 134.85. The dollar still at 106.01. We can take a look at some stuff today. Philip Morris has actually done pretty well. They had the results beat estimates on demand for heated tobacco sticks. This is the IQOS. This is like they smolder tobacco. I know a lot of people use this in for medical marijuana, or it smolders it. Philip Morris had actually been working on this technology back in the 70s and early 80s as well, before anyone else. And it's interesting to see that kind of come to now. And it was a slow burn for it. And then also their Zyn pouches have been phenomenal for it. Let's take a look at Philip Morris here quickly. I think so we're trading at 93.99, down from a low earlier this month, about 87.75. Of course, low on the yearly, he was at 87.23. Any company that is making these nicotine pouches is going to do so well going forward, right? So this is the big thing, right? I think a lot of advertisements, of course, things can't be addictive for advertising them. But another thing as well, and this is the angle that I think they're doing some kind of, I don't know how you'd really call it. It's not necessarily grassroots, but these companies do advertise their products, but it's in a far, far subtler way, right? So this is like making posts online, promoting individuals who are making memes about these posts, right? Because a lot of the people who are doing Zyn, and if you're not familiar, what they've started doing is synthesizing nicotine It's pure nicotine, and they put it in the pouches, right? And so what's positive about this is it's non-carcinogenic, because nicotine isn't a carcinogen. It's all the other things in tobacco that are carcinogenic. So they kind of have this angle going on it, and all they have to say is this is addictive. Well, you have these people online who make these meme pages with it. Never underestimate how powerful memes are in the realm of marketing. We've seen that with major name brands, especially in fast food, where they create meme pages themselves, and this can correlate actually pretty strongly with an increase in consumption of the product. Of course, Marlboro is doing IQOS. I think going to a smokeless society is actually going to occur, especially when you have these products like Zyn. You know, actually a really interesting thing, this isn't to do with the stock, but there's a guy who does mass spec online with a lot of these products, right? So he took Zyn, and it's actually pretty purely nicotine and some flavorants in them. There's another really popular one called On. I believe this comes out of Sweden. A lot of this synthesized nicotine pouches comes from the Nordic countries. And the dude was doing mass spec on it, and it turned out there was a bunch of heavy metal in On. And everyone was like, how does that occur, right? Like, how is heavy metal getting in? And so it turns out that they're synthesizing nicotine from potatoes. And potatoes actually have a relatively high nicotine content. And so obviously things that grow in the ground, like tubers and all these things, absorb stuff within the soil, and that includes heavy metals. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Shipments of Philip Morris's IQOS units grew by 20.9%. This is the heated tobacco stick to 33.1 billion in the first quarter, compared with a 6.1% rise in the preceding quarter. PMI had forecast first quarter shipments between 31 billion and 32 billion sticks. The company's first quarter revenue of 8.79 billion beat market expectations of 8.47 billion. Demand for the IQOS device and associated tobacco sticks in major markets like Japan helped the company offset the impact of a ban on flavored heated tobacco products in the European Union. Philip Morris said the heat not burn category surpassed combustible cigarettes in Tokyo in the quarter. PMI also enjoyed fast-growing U.S. sales of its Zyn nicotine pouches. So shipments of Zyn grew 79.7% from the same period last year. To keep in mind, too, you have Tucker Carlson. He used to be an anchor for Fox News. I guess he got fired from it or something along those lines, and he started his own, streaming company. A lot of young people like him, and he talks about Zyn all the time, right? So this is where all the memes I see is of him talking about them. And this is like free advertising, and, I would reckon the companies that promote, or the pages that promote these kind of shorts might have some connection with Philip Morris. Not all of them, but certainly some of them. Philip Morris reported first quarter adjusted profit of $1.50 per share, beating estimates of 1.41. However, the company's shares were down marginally in pre-market trading after it cut its annual adjusted profit forecast to between $6.19 and $6.31 per share, and that's up from down from 6.32 to 6.44. Excluding currency fluctuations, however, the company expects adjusted earnings per share of $6.55. With the heated stuff as well, IQS is a little different, but you get this a lot in like Ukraine and Eastern Europe. They're little devices you put the cigarette in and it just smolders it. It's very interesting, very popular. I wonder if it'll come here. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the morning market kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
All right, welcome back, folks. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tommy O'Brien. Taking a look at Walmart right now, trading at $60.14. Of course, we are still before the open here. The reason I wanted to talk about them is they have this backed fintech, which is is introducing buy now, pay later. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about this. I just kind of want to share my thoughts on this, kind of phenomena of buy now, pay later, especially from financial companies. So Walmart's majority-owned fintech startup One has begun offering buy now, pay later loans for big-ticket items at some of the retailers' more than 4,600 U.S. stores. The move puts One in direct competition with Affirm, the BNPL leader, and its exclusive provider of installment loans for Walmart customers since 2019. Its relationship with that Arkansas retailer expanded recently, introducing Affirm as a payment option at Walmart self-checkout kiosks. It's also likely that a battle is brewing in the store aisles and e-commerce portals of America's largest retailer. At stake is the role of the wide spectrum of players, from fintech firms to card companies and established banks. All right, talk some more about how this structure, it generated about $648 billion for Walmart in revenue last year. That was through Affirm. Of course, Walmart is now in a way competing with the people who provide this. I don't know why this isn't being talked about more, right? In a real sense, like this buy now, pay later. I think the loan structure we have in America, and some obviously, it helps with people purchasing goods that they can't afford. But I wonder sometimes, does this also, in a sense, push up the price of the assets, over a longer period of time? I think you can see that in cars as well. You had Toyota's CEO talk about last year. He sees new cars in the near future being $50,000 base, and people will be able to get them because of loans. And so, it allows this like acceptable price movement up. Now we're talking about buy now, pay later for general goods. And I know credit cards are like this, and that's fine, and it adds with it. But I wonder if there needs to be a conversation as well going on. Is like, why are people having to default to this kind of stuff, right? I don't know. I would say also I don't know what the leverage is. Leverage meaning, I don't know if these people don't pay what Walmart does, or how they kind of extract what they're owed from these customers. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Offerings from both One and Affirm were available at checkout, and loans from either provider were available for purchasing. Okay, so here it is. And loans from either provider were available for purchases starting at around $100 and costing as much as several $1,000s at an annual interest rate of between 10% and 36%, according to the respective websites. I'll research this more as well to kind of figure out what their structure is with it. Electronics, jewelry, power tools, and automotive accessories are eligible for loans, while groceries, alcohol, and weapons are not. Buy now, pay later has gained popularity with consumers for everyday items as well as larger purchases. From January through March of this year, BNPL drove $19.2 billion in online spending. That's according to Adobe Analytics, 12% year-over-year increase. Just wild. And I know for this it's not groceries, but you do have companies who are doing this for like foodstuffs and everything. Pretty crazy. It says no fee, especially relevant to lower middle income. We see a lot of the customers' demographics, so I think it gives us the ability to participate in this space. Maybe others don't. That's Rainey. He's a former PayPal executive working with One. One could generate roughly $1.6 billion in annual revenue from debit cards and lending in the near term, and more than $4 billion if it expands into investing in other areas. Walmart can use its scale to grow One in many other ways. And I wonder if this gets more ingrained in the society. Does this affect, your credit rating, right? I know there were some movements to paying rent on time increases credit score, which is a positive in a way. But still, I think it's this behemoth of like a loan system that we have. Interesting, nonetheless. I just thought that was. I think we're seeing more buy now, pay laters. Tesla reports earnings today. Woo. So we're trading at 143.55. Obviously, this stock has gotten just brutalized. We're trading at like the high here last year, really in October of 269.30 cents. This year, the high. This is about. That's still in December. Yeah, I mean, during the beginning of this year, it just started going down. Of course, we have a gap down here, which this price will have to get back up to and beat, but it didn't look like it wanted to do that. We'll keep going down to about 143.55. Of course, you have a lot of stuff with Tesla firing a lot of its people, slashing their prices, saying they are not going to be able to compete with the Chinese companies, Elon Musk wanting more money. There's a lot of stuff going on. Of course, we're talking about the Cybertruck as well being recalled, although that doesn't often, it's not super, the price isn't super sensitive to stuff like that. Of course, Tesla might be a different story because it's such a unique company. Anyways, Tesla, the world's most valuable automaker, is set to report earnings after the market closes Tuesday. Dow analyst projections on sales and profit reflect the company's rough start in 2024. Here's what analysts expect. This is the revenue of $22.22 billion, which would mark a 4.8% drop from the year ago quarter. Operating income of $1.62 billion, down from $2.66 billion in the year ago quarter. And per share earnings of 42 cents per share, or 49 cents per share when stripping out one-time items. Yeah, I think Tesla's going to be in a rough spot. I think that they've been kind of telegraphing that in a major way. We'll just see what happens. Of course, ARK Investment, Kathy Woods, is still buying this stock as well. It'll be interesting to see how Elon is going to pull himself out of this. We can talk a little bit more about EV. So this is from the IEA's Global EV Outlook book. So this is the International Energy Agency. Okay, we've been talking about kind of a dismal outlook for EV sales globally. And really, when we talk about globally, we're kind of saying Europe and in America, right? Well, China has been doing China's its own spot, right? So it has been seeing actually a huge uptick in consumption for EVs, and this is very recent. In fact, you have Xiaomi's, the SU7. We were talking about Xiaomi is going to be the major competitors of any other non-Chinese EV company. So the SU7 orders reached 70,000, which is an insane number for a car company. EV businesses stay focused on China. Why wouldn't you? China's Xiaomi has secured locked-in orders for more than 70,000 of its SU7 electric cars as of Saturday, and the company intends to keep its automotive business 100% focused on the Chinese market for the next 3 years. Lei Jun said that. That's obviously one of the big fears, is you can get a country that has, or a company that has production capacity like that, which is insane, and then you flood the rest of the world with it. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll talk some more about EVs.
Tigers, the inaugural session of Live Trading Fridays with Larry Pesavento was a massive success. Trades were communicated, questions were answered, and money was made. Every second and fourth Friday of the month, from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Larry wants you to join him as he places live trades and takes your questions. That's right, with this monthly subscription, you receive access to 2 live trading events. We are gearing up for the next session Friday, April 26, so there's still time to sign up. For this month only, use code LarryLive at checkout in order to secure $50 off your monthly subscription price for as long as you subscribe to the service. We'll see you next Friday, April 26, Tigers. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee, so what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tommy O'Brien. This is the morning market kickoff. It's already April 23rd, which is bizarre. And it's like cold out. 66 degrees in St. Pete. I don't know what that means, but we'll ignore that for right now and the implications. We are just at the open. The ES Mini is up about 0.39% right now. The Russell is just sideways. NQ up 0.45%. The Dow Futures up 0.31%. 1%. Gold, the gold contract trading at 2,324. Silver just below that 27 mark. And then copper, we are off about 1.6%, but still at that 440 level. And then crude oil continues its decline, and we are at 81.58 right now. That is for the light sweet crude oil contracts. Tesla up a little bit right now. Of course, it's literally just open. So we're at 143 roughly in Steel Dynamics, 131.26 in that dollar. Having a time breaking that 106 level. Kind of a consolidation move over the past few days. Disney at 113. Man, I was so happy for the stock. I should have sold here. Anyways, that's one of the fun things when you get into trading is hindsight. And that makes or breaks you. We were talking about EVs before the break. Tesla is obviously set to report earnings. We're all going to be watching that pretty heavily. And then we were talking about Xiaomi. Okay, and Xiaomi is one of these Chinese companies that Musk was talking about, and now you have lawmakers in the U.S. and in Europe talking about the potential for these companies to flood the global market. Xiaomi is a smartphone maker. They decided to say, hey, we're going to do cars. SU7 orders reached 70,000, so that was pretty heavy, and they're saying they're expecting 100,000 deliveries for this model in 2024, which is pretty nuts. They launched its car. It enters a crowded China EV market with attention-grabbing price tag under $30,000 for the base model, which is $4,000 cheaper than the base model of Tesla's Model 3 in China. He estimates that the gross profit margin will be around 5 to 10%. Xiaomi was increasing production capacity and further cost support from suppliers. Wild. So the reason I bring this up is because the IEA, which is the International Energy Agency, they actually released a report. This was yesterday, that global EV sales are robust. Okay, so it's important to kind of look at what's going on with that. China is really the largest driver of this. You're having some issues in the U.S. and Europe with it, okay? But China is rebounding a little bit economically, and they actually have a larger push than we do by a significant degree for purchasing EVs. They've been doing that actually for a while. It's pretty nuts. You can watch drone footage. They have these big empty lots, so there's a lot of like ride-sharing apps there, just because there's so many people, and all those ride-sharing apps. Their fleets that they have will usually be EV. These companies go out of business for whatever reason, and they dump these EVs in massive, lots. And it is insane to see the amount of cars that are just going unused. I don't really have anything wrong with them. It's just nobody owns them and can afford them. Bizarre. So global EV sales are robust. More than 1 in 5 cars sold in 2024 will be electric. Rising EV sales are set to remake the global auto industry and significantly reduce oil consumption for road transport. The latest IEA Outlook report asserts that the global EV sales are set to remain robust in 2024, reaching around 17 million by the end of the year. In Q1, sales grew about 25% year over year, similar to the growth rate seen in the period a year earlier, but from a larger base. The number of EVs sold globally in Q1 2024 is roughly equivalent to all of that. To that in all of 2020. In 2024, electric car sales in China are projected to jump to about 10 million, accounting for about 45% of all car sales in the country. In the U.S., roughly 1 in 9 cars are sold. Cars sold are projected to be electric. So there you go. In Europe, despite a generally weak outlook for passenger car sales and the phase out of EV subsidies in the same countries, EVs still represent about a quarter of cars sold. This builds on a record-breaking 2023, of course. Let's see, in China, more than 60% of electric cars sold in 2023 are already less expensive to buy than gas cars, so that's a major thing as well. In the U.S. and Europe, the gas car prices remain cheaper on average, though, intensifying market competition, improving battery technologies. This is expected to reduce prices. And so if you're an EV maker, you really want to be in China, is kind of the answer on that, and Europe to an extent too. But Europe is going to experience, I think, a weak economy going forward into the next year. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out as well. Let me see here. All right. Since we're speaking in that vein of renewables, let's talk about non-renewables. Halliburton. Trading down 1.56% today. His name is, I don't know. This is someone who grew up, I'm 27. And, so I'm like coming to some relative consciousness in like 2005. And Halliburton was always like the boogeyman name, right? You always, if you heard something weird going on, Halliburton, I mean, internationally, Halliburton was there. Well, anyways, Halliburton is trading at 38.12 right now. They see the best profit in 12 years despite shrinking shale. So Halliburton is the world's biggest provider of fracking work, posted its best earnings for a first quarter in a dozen years despite a shrinking business in the shale patch. The company that helps oil explorers around the globe drill and complete new wells reported quarterly earnings of $679 million, excluding certain items. Said Tuesday in a statement, international sales grew 12% while North America revenue fell 8% compared to a year earlier. Shares climbed 0.6% pre-market. Doesn't matter because we're trading down $1.45. Wow. Just looking at this chart here. The world's biggest hired hands of the oil field are in the midst of a multi-year pivot away from the once booming shale patch in search of greater growth overseas. SLB, a larger rival, which dominates international service works, reported similar results last week with a 13% jump in total revenues, while its North American sales dropped 6%. Halliburton offers the closest proxy to U.S. producer activity. There's better output in 2023 than expected. Closely watched tally of pre-drilled wells, known as the frac log, reversed course last month, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. The report indicated that the number of wells fracked grew slower than those drilled, offering another indication of slowing hydraulic fracturing market. I want to say this is on an off note, but if you don't know how the fracking works, there's actually some really cool like infographics on YouTube. I was just watching the whole thing like maybe last year or something like that because I wanted to know, and it's actually pretty neat. Obviously massive environmental implications, but if you're into kind of heavy machinery like that, pretty cool. So on this topic too, I thought this was a super unique article talking about, I've spoken about this kind of like black market oil, a shadow oil a little bit, and how Russia is still getting it out, right? And they profit off this, and it's able to increase their wartime efforts. So this is about how the Russians are dodging Western sanctions to sell oil in India. We'll talk about that when we get back from the break. It's very, very cool. So stay tuned.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
All right, welcome back, folks. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tommy O'Brien. This is the morning market kickoff. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about crude oil going down, and then this article is how Russia is dodging Western sanctions to sell oil to India. Okay, so let's take a look here. Between January and February of this year, 3 previously unknown entities, Blackford, Black Pearl, and Vertex, have together played a significant role in supplying India's private and state processors with Russian crude. This is said that traders and refinery executives who asked not to be named as they're not authorized to speak publicly. Traders said the ease of incorporating new business in locations such as Dubai and Hong Kong has been pivotal to the creation of pop-up firms. Most of these names have not been seen or heard, even by those close to the trade just months earlier. With the support of these merchants, as well as the ones that came before, India's imports from Russia surged from almost zero pre-Ukraine war to a peak of over 2 million barrels a day last year, before slipping a little from that level. The advantage of smaller trading companies is that they're easily replaceable, with many firms existing for less than a year. This chart here is Russian oil cheaper than Iraqi supplies India, and obviously they kind of sell at a discount. It actually is amazing to me that at some points it affects Iraq as well. Crosses over or at least is equal to. The turnover rate, however, is a headache for the enforcers, even as the U.S. sanctions numerous traders, ships, and shippers for their role in the Russian oil trade, in particular for transactions done above $60 a barrel price limit. Indian refining executives told Bloomberg that their firms have been inundated with buy requests from new entities looking to register themselves as approved suppliers. The companies conduct due diligence checks with the help of third-party firms who help to confirm the pop-up traders are genuine. The executive said that while the entities may appear new, checks show that people behind them have typically sold Russian oil to India before. Russian flows to China, meanwhile, have been less impacted by sanctions. It's just very interesting, kind of how they skirt these international kind of laws as well. And you have plenty of ships, off the record and everything that deliver these. We spoke about that with Venezuela and kind of their ships that trade their oil as well. Of course, sanctions are reimposed on that country. We talk a little bit about that, actually, as Venezuela is accelerating cryptocurrency shift as oil sanctions return. So the whole point was that the U.S. would lift sanctions if they promised to, I don't even know what this means, but they promised to do a fair election, right? And that was the whole thing, and they decided they didn't want to do that, and so they jailed the political opponent to Maduro. So anyway, sanctions were reimposed, and these sanctions have been really rough for Venezuela. And in fact, actually kind of a unique thing as well is one of the major points of income for some younger Venezuelans, because you can't find any work there, is you have all these video games, right? And in the video games, you have like currency inside of them. they're not like microtransactions, but they're just like currency in the game. And the Venezuelans will meet up in these large cafes for the internet and then farm that currency and sell them online. It's very crazy. You should look it up. Called Venezuelan Gold Farmers. Anyways, Venezuela to accelerate cryptocurrency shift as oil sanctions return. Venezuela's state-run oil company PDVSA plans to increase digital currency usage in its crude and fuel exports as the U.S. reimposes oil sanctions on the country. The U.S. Treasury Department last week gave PDVSA's customers, the providers, until May 31st to wind down transactions under a general license it did not renew due to a lack of electoral reforms. The move will make it more difficult for the country to increase oil output and exports, as companies will have to wait for individual U.S. authorizations to do business with Venezuela. The state companies since last year has been slowly moving oil sales to USDT, a digital currency also known as Tether, whose value is pegged to the U.S. dollar and designed to maintain a stable value. The return of oil sanctions is speeding up the shift, a move to reduce the risk of sale proceeds getting frozen in foreign bank accounts due to the measures. So we have different currencies, according to what is stated in the contract. Venezuelan oil minister Pedro Telequia told Reuters last week, adding that in some contracts, digital currencies might be preferred payment method. This is very cool. The nation's oil exports have increased under Telequia, who took over Venezuela's oil ministry following a scandal encouraged by the U.S. licensing allowing sales. Exports reached 900,000 barrels per day in March. The USDT transactions, as the company is demanding them to be, don't pass any trader's compliance department. So the only way to make it work is working with an intermediary. PDVSA has relied on middlemen for its own oil sales, especially to China, since the U.S. in 2020 imposed secondary sanctions on Venezuela, disrupting its relationship with large trading partners. That's just kind of neat. It's a novel way of kind of dealing with issues, that Venezuela has. Let's talk a little bit about Amazon. That is not Amazon. Okay, straight at 177.12. Obviously, a little bit of a downturn as well. They are closing their stores. I can't think of the name they gave them, but essentially, you pick something up, put it in a cart, and it charges it, and you just walk through, and it charges your card. So there's no human interaction in the stores. A weird smear article came out saying that actually wasn't artificial intelligence at all, but a bunch of people in India sitting and watching cameras, and they kind of had to qualify that a little bit, saying it's still AI, but you have people looking at the data out of India. Well, Amazon has just launched low-cost grocery delivery subscription plan in the U.S. So the subscription plan would allow Amazon Prime's members to get unlimited grocery delivery at $9.99 per month on orders over $35 from Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, and other local grocery and specialty retailers on the platform, including Save Mart, Bartell Drugs, Rite Aid, and Pet Food Express. This is interesting, too, is a new grocery delivery subscription on Tuesday in the United States for members of its Prime program and customers who are recipients of the government food assistance benefits. The service will be available in over 3,500 cities. That's crazy. In towns across the country. Low-income citizens who rely on the government's SNAP program to support their grocery budgets would have to pay a reduced $4.99 fee per month for the same perks and do not require a Prime membership. The move comes as part of the company's effort to expand its fresh food business in a space already occupied by players like Walmart and Target, which also paid membership programs. Amazon's offering also includes 1-hour delivery windows at no extra cost and unlimited 30-minute pickup on order of any size. Very neat. And, again, I think the delivery plan is kind of a vestige or an echo of quarantine. I think a lot of people have I can't even actually say because the companies are doing so well, but at least anecdotally speaking, I don't know anyone who does these DoorDashes or delivery services anymore just because the premium is so extraordinarily high. But for something like $10 a month, if you're already a Prime member, not a bad deal. Very cool. Trading at 176.67 right now, just a few minutes after the open. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back for a short segment.
The Gold Report. As a precious metal, gold is still king. It continues to hold the most effective safe haven and hedging properties across the global major trading hubs of the London OTC market, the U.S. futures market, and the Shanghai Gold Exchange. The Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his weekly gold report every Monday morning for subscribers, consisting of coverage of the XAU, HUI, GDX, the dollar, bonds, the South African rand, as well as 25 different mining equities with specific buy-sell recommendations. The Gold Report. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Subscribe to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report newsletter now at TFNN.com.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tommy O'Brien. The morning market kickoff. Right now, we're taking a look at a Raytheon. These defense stocks are doing pretty well. Same with Lockheed Martin. I think this is what Eisenhower warned us about, but doesn't matter if this is in your portfolio. Raytheon's up 2.18% right now, and I believe Lockheed Martin is up just 1.5%. Regardless, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Obviously, the conflicts around the world are having these companies do quite well. Raytheon on Tuesday beat first quarter earnings estimates helped by demand for missile defense systems and strength in the commercial aftermarket business. The aftermarket business gained as airlines had to extend the service life of aircraft to keep up with the recovery in air travel amid the limited availability of new commercial planes. Arlington, Virginia-based company reported revenue of $19.3 billion. Analysts on average had expected revenue of $18.41 billion and earnings of $1.23 per share. It was actually $1.34. Pratt & Whitney, a subsidiary of RTX, reported a sales rise of 23% amid the ongoing inspection drive to check for potentially flawed components in its turbofan jet engines. Remember, we spoke about that maybe sometime last year. Pretty insane. RTX's defense arm, Raytheon, jumped 74%, aided by its in-demand Patriot defense system and gains from its divestiture of the cybersecurity, intelligence, and services business. And then for Lockheed Martin, they also report higher sales on strong defense demand. And Lockheed Martin does a lot of like voodoo stuff as well. I know they have a ground-to-air, it's like a laser, in order to fry components in missiles, essentially, right? Instead of sending another missile at it, they can just fry the computer on board. The U.S. weapons maker Lockheed Martin on Tuesday reported a near 14% rise in the first quarter sales as simmering geopolitical tensions prompt some countries to boost their defense spending. Sales in its missiles and fire control unit jumped 25.3% to nearly $3 billion, boosted by the strong demand for high-mobility artillery rockets, which is the HIMARS, and guided multiple launch rocket systems, key weapons used by Ukraine. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. I think we have the Basil did his show at 8 o'clock, so if you missed that, we'll have the replay on next segment. Then we have Steve Rhodes, the rest of the